Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to Prospects Nation 101. My name is Chris Robbins, and today I'm going to be doing a solo film breakdown special for you guys. Obviously, we generally have a lot of special guests on the channel. We've had Gavino, Daniel, obviously, two of our other members, and Carson and Braden. But I chose to do this one solo and kind of give you guys an inside perspective on what I'm seeing here with Sony Michel. He's a little bit different than a lot of these other guys we see. He doesn't really bring a lot of receiving ability to the table, at least statistically. Uh, on the other hand, he's a part of that committee system in Georgia that him and Nick Chubb run. So I'm really trying to get a grasp on what he does versus what Nick Chubb does, what makes them different, and what makes Sony Michel better than Chubb or vice versa. So today, of course, we're doing some Sony Michel tape. I have the Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, and Alabama games up. But let's just first go through a little bit of background here. He did actually start as a freshman for a game. Don't really know if one game was enough to be considered a starter. However, he did start for 6 games as a sophomore. And started 2 as a junior before injury concerns. So if you want to call it a 4-year starter, because he did start a game as a freshman, go ahead. I would opt to say 3. But yeah, another thing too to note with both of these Georgia backs, but right now we're on Michel, is injury concerns. Broke his forearm, 2 bones going through his skin. I believe he had another issue at some point as well. His brother actually played briefly in the NFL. Did not realize that. His best friend is Nick Chubb. Doesn't really appear to be. Oh wow, using a 3D printer. That's pretty interesting. So anyway, yeah, I think we pretty much pointed everything out. His size, I did almost forget to mention that. He's listed estimated 5'11", 215. We did just watch some Roadshow tape. If you guys haven't seen him, yeah, Ronald Jones, definitely a great watch. Carson and I had blast doing that. I don't think he's much smaller than Rojo. I would probably opt to list him at 6 foot. Personally, I think he measures in Indy at 6 foot. But again, you do see a little bit more size from him than you do from Ronald. He's listed estimated 215. Wouldn't surprise me if he's a little bit bigger than that. So yeah, with that, let's get right into this here. So the first game I have up here, I did try and go in order, is Vanderbilt. This was week 6, or at least the 6th game of the season. And yeah, while Vanderbilt isn't really a good team, I figured that maybe the midway mark in the season, they kind of had things going, a pretty good ground game with him and Chubb. So let's see what he's got here versus the Commodores. First play, vision-wise, okay, I see what he's doing. He's really taking that gap. He notices he has a one-on-one here and this guy here. So he's going to take that to the right. He's trying to fight through that contact, and he ends up getting to the first down marker. So nice job there, fighting for those yards, getting that extra yard for the first. Another one of those guys that really seems to be a keep those feet moving, keep those chains moving down the field, keeps drives alive. That was really the vibe I got from him from my first initial walkthrough. Obviously, they're talking about Michelle, but we have sound off, so. Alright, here we go. Again, nice job recognizing that cutback lane here. One thing I will point out here while we're waiting for them to start the next round is there was an 8-minute gap there. I don't know if that was just the way that the offense works, where there's like a huge runoff there. But I mean, like by that, I'm obviously talking in-game situation. But if it was because of stamina or maybe injury or something like that, could be. But yeah, here again, he's not going to really try and power through there because the room for growth is very, very small. He's not going to completely try and cut around and really get around those two guys. That's a bit much bending, a bit much time consuming. And also, he's another one of those guys like Ronald who doesn't really like going backwards. So he's not going to cross the same ground if he does that. Um, Instead, what he's going to try and do here is you're going to see him try and take this lane on the cutback. So obviously the run is appearing to be moving right. He's going to take that cutback lane, work the one-on-one there, the one-on-one there. Now, of course, because he has a 3-on-1 situation here anyway, he's still going to get stopped. However, again, just one of those guys, keeps his feet moving, keeps his legs churning, non-stop leg drive, and picks up extra yards after contact. Absolutely love that about him. And it's not something you see from everyone in this class. I brought that up with Ronald Jones. He's another one of those guys that does do that very well. I would say the three backs that do that the most effectively, at least that I've watched so far, are Ronald Jones, Sony Michel, and Darius Guice. And that's why those three guys are my top three running backs in this class. They definitely do a great job of picking up every single yard that they can get. And it really makes them good running backs at picking up consistent yardage play in and play out. And again here, just looking for that hole. Not really a lot to work with. I'm actually pretty surprised that the Georgia line isn't getting a ton of push. But this is probably the third play so far where they've only gotten a yard or so less. But yeah, you're still seeing Michel was able to really quickly slip through that hole and just use his bursting explosiveness to shoot through that gap. Chucks through that guy, gets around them, and really utilizes that pursuit angle to his advantage. And not afraid to shy away from contact either. Definitely nice to see that. Not someone who is trying to juke everybody out. He can run through some guys. Roadshow, one of the few knocks I had on him was that he was definitely a guy who preferred to run around guys. He could run through some guys and could make some guys miss, but he preferred to use his elusive side. With Michel, you still get that elusiveness and that burst, while you get someone who's definitely willing to chuck some people over as well. Not really shying away from his physicality and his physical nature of his running style. Now again, part of that too could be usage. Michel's a lot more fresh than Ronald Jones is. Michel's averaging 10 to 15 carries a game, whereas Ronald averaged as much as 25 to 30 more than half the year. Maybe that's part of the reason why Jones prefers to shy away from his physical side is because of how limited, or because of his usage rate and how often he was used. Whereas Michel, you're getting someone who is a lot more fresh, a lot lower touch rate, things of that nature. So definitely something to keep an eye on there. Obviously, each person has different ideas for how they value usage rates. But another first time situation, not really a 3-down runner, at least from what we've seen so far in this game. And again, just really sees that hole nicely, slips through there, and the end of this play is obviously where you're getting what you're taking him for. Just look at how much yards after contacting his balance that he's able to stay up. So again, from the time of the snap, you're watching really every single aspect with him. You're getting good vision right off the snap. You're getting good decision making to initially mental processing to initially take that hole right there that he's being given. Not trying to make something out of nothing. Bites through that arm tackle from the much bigger defensive tackle. And again, the finish of the run really stays through contact, fights through there, and instead of picking up 3-4 yards, you're getting 10. It's really just that yards after the contact. And while you think of Michel as being the more explosive type of runner, the more agile type of runner between him and Chubb, what really makes Michel special is that he still has that power, that strength, that ability to run through and run over guys, despite being known for his elusive running style. He's still fighting through these tackles, he's still getting yards after contact, he's still doing a great job of keeping his legs moving. And that's really what's going to make Michel, in my opinion, successful at the next level going forward. And of course, it's only through one quarter, so we'll get to see a lot more of that as time passes, hopefully. Again, just to recap of what he's done so far. But yeah, not afraid to shy away from contact, great vision there to cut that back across, nice moves, and again, just that power. Vision, fights through 3 arm tackles, cradles the ball very nicely. I do know that he has a fumbling issue. Again, if you guys are ultimately worried about ball security, we might see some fumbles in this game. While guys like Jones, Barkley, and Geis don't have that issue at all. In fact, Jones only had 2 fumbles, like 300 carries or something like that. Michel was the second worst fumbling rate amongst drug eligible backs, so it wouldn't surprise me at all if we see some fumbles in this tape. One thing too about Michel is he can be used in a creative scheme. Similar to Barkley in that sense, where there was a lot of unique play calling going on in Penn State. You're going to see a lot of that with Michel as well. Guys like Geis, you're really just using I-form single back ace type looks, whereas with Barkley and Michel, and while he wasn't used that way in college, I would probably throw Rojo in that same book as well. You have a lot more versatility as far as shotgun looks, spread looks. If you want to use a wildcat with Michel or Barkley, you can do so. I'm not really sure how Jones would fare. Probably not as well or near as well as Michel and Barkley. So if you're one of those teams where maybe you're the Patriots, you got Josh McDaniels or whatnot, more on the up and coming, upper level creative playbook type of schemes, Michel could really be one of those useful type of backs for you. Now here, another thing I want to point out too is earlier in the video, I did mention he's not really used a lot on 3rd down, or at least wasn't at that point. Here you see him not only at the goal line, or at least inside the 5, but it is 3rd down and it is short yardage. So it's not that he can't be used that way. It's just that with Georgia being a committee system and having a guy like Nick Chubb there, you don't really of that from him. But again, I really do want to emphasize it's not something that he can't do. It's something that he just hasn't shown consistency in doing. And you see that here, 19 of 19 in the red zone. Didn't really do a lot there. Not one of his better plays, but still did a nice job off the snap of finding the right hole. Just couldn't really get a lot of burst through there. Now again, one thing that you gotta consider with Chubb, or with Michel rather, is time and usage. 5:45 here in the second, and you're gonna see this jump immediately here to 13:40 in the third. So not only was there 5 minutes off the first half, but also a couple minutes in the second half before you see him. Of course, they're already at the 33. So again, partially because of Nick Chubb there, it's not something that he might not necessarily can't do, but it is something that we have to pay attention to and notice here. And again, just, oh, what I love about him. What, again, just, oh my goodness. when he is on the field, he just does so many things right from the whole run, or throughout the whole run rather. Just sees this hole. Not again, I'm going to emphasize this a lot here. We bring this up with some of the other backs. While they're not necessarily getting pushed back, you're not really seeing a lot of push through here. You're still getting met at the line. I mean, what? At the line, a yard back, a yard back. They're not really getting a lot of push. There's no real road graders on this Georgia offensive line, at least through this game. Through the first half of this game versus Vanderbilt. I would assume it's the same way in a lot of his other tapes, maybe not. But you're not seeing a lot of push here. However, despite that, he still has the vision and the decision making to find the hole, take the right hole. Now, one thing that I would say maybe you can make the argument he could do better here is you're going to see two separate areas open up here on either side of this guy here who actually does get to the second level for a change. You could see him take this to his left and try and break through there. He decides to fight through this arm tackle instead. Now, because he has the strength, the power, the leg burst, the traits, etc., to fight through this arm tackle, there's no real issue with that. However, again, just something maybe you're being picky here, which I'm going to try and do for a lot of these videos. You would maybe like to see him when that's the outside gap. Of course, it still turns into a nice run here, and you see the same thing here. Now, while he does like to not shy away from his contact, on the other hand, it could be viewed as a negative. Now here, he's going to again try and make his cut early. Now, personally, what I want to see, and what maybe someone like Ronald Jones would do, and a couple of the other guys, ideally, just take your open space. He does a great job of doing that in the first few yards of his runs. However, when you get deeper in, you're going to notice him using his contact and his will to fight through guys a lot. So again, while he probably could have easily avoided that guy just by cutting that across and taking it up the field, you're really seeing him try and fight through that. So again, positive is that he's able to run through these guys, able to overpower these guys, check through, etc. However, you could argue, again, and I will, that he's losing out on some of those yards by not taking it around him. Which is personally why I'm a little bit higher on Ronald Jones, at least going into this. That is the situation where you probably see Rojo take that around to the left there. And then to the left right here, instead of that stop and go move you're going to see Michel use, just use your explosiveness, your burst, your speed, and cut that through. So it could be a point there. Again, we're not taking away from the fact that that's a successful run. That's still a long first down, or that's still a first down, a nice long run, but it could have been better, and that's really what we're looking for here. Now, one of the very few instances where I've seen, at least so far, where Michel has taken this run to the outside. Partially because of how far back this offensive line is being pushed here. I mean, every single one of their 5 offensive linemen is 2 yards deep into the backfield. The only guy who's not is on this right side. So it might be a situation where, okay, in this case where you're clearly getting beat on this left side, maybe at that point try and reverse the field. At that point it's okay in this situation with me if you say, okay, everyone's 2 or 3 yards deep. I have a one-on-one matchup with the guy who's at the line. Maybe I should change here. Like right here. Even here, they're still getting forced back. He still has enough time to utilize his vision and read the whole field and take this cutback lane. These two guys are clearly moving over. These guys over here are getting pushed back. At this point in the run, I want him to have read the whole field and utilize that cutback lane. Something that I really liked with Ronald Jones, but you don't get that with Michel. Oh, okay. Well, it didn't end up being a run anyway. I have no idea what happened there. Oh, RPO. Okay, so good decision by From to not handing it off. Yeah, full rate is for nothing. Alright, now here on this play, it is a run, of course. Not really a lot of put. You have the 71 here. Okay, getting 2 yards deep. But at the line, a yard behind, a yard ahead. Okay, so you're getting a yard of push on that left side with a double team. And then a yard behind with Isaiah Wynn. So really, just not a lot of push. Now, granted, they are opening some holes. I will give them that. But you're not getting a lot of second level effort, and you're not getting a lot of push with this line. Bam! Just keep those legs moving. Bravo, Sony Michel. And again, has the vision to find these lanes, right? What's really most important is what he does with his vision and how he uses it, right? So it's great to have that vision, but if you don't make that decision and you don't have the explosiveness to get through those holes, your vision is pointless, right? So he has that vision, but he also has the decision making to cut that inside and take that gap, as well as the explosion to be able to do so. And again, while you ideally, in my personal preference, want to see him get around and take this open green area, maybe you have a one-on-one with 5 if the receiver can get on his block, he's the decision here to run through. Now granted, look at where he started running this through, right? He's making first contact here at the 37-yard line, right? Look at where he ends up. He gets the first down at the 42. Just yards after contact, keeping those legs moving, fighting for those yards, falling forward. Every single yard he can get, he gets it. When in contact, I should say. He doesn't really, again, go around those guys. We've seen that. But when he's getting hit, he really does a nice job of carrying defenders. And I would put him in that with Jones and Geis, again, in that top tier so far of guys who can really do that on a consistent basis. Also, he can run some no huddle. Georgia ran some pretty effective no huddle this year. And he can also, well, he wasn't used for this purpose at Georgia. I wouldn't be surprised if we could see him succeed in a 2 clock rule as well. So another one of those guys, like Rojo, where you can see him control the game. Here, just really does a nice job of taking that cutback lane. And you're going to see his vision here. Finally, some nice push from that Georgia line. Actually gets a yard here of push. And, however, not really a lot of holes. So what you're going to want to see him do here is take that one that he's given, fight through that contact. Doesn't get as much chuck on that guy as you'd like to see as he normally does. But still, good job of getting as many yards as he was allowed on that particular play. Want to see him get even more, fight through that a little bit better, but it's not something that he's shown issue with on a consistent basis. In fact, he's done well with it. Jeez, Pete. Whoever played Vanderbilt in week 5, holy crap. Yeah, we're still, again, seeing kind of too clocky here. Just running down that game clock. So they have run no huddle and some 2 clock with them as well. In the lead, 3rd quarter. Now again, this is probably an instance where some guys like Ronald Jones, for instance, might take this cutback lane here and take that to the left. Trying when you have the 2 outside receivers, well, the 3 receivers on the 3 corners, and then one-on-one with the safety. Or what you're going to get from Michel is you're going to take that guy who really explodes through that first initial opening hole in the middle, And as a result, touchdown. Or at least very close to one if he can outrun this guy. Stays in, so he does get the touchdown. Great run. So another one of those guys, we didn't really see that with Rojo. That home run threat, that long distance carry, that big play. He does have that. He did break one off for 86 versus Washington State. But Michel, a little bit more consistent with it. He's kind of that balance between Saquon and Rojo. Rojo's going to be that guy that consistently gets you that 4, 5, 6 every play. Saquon's that guy that's going to be that home run threat and that big playability. Sony's kind of that guy that can do both. He's not a consistent home run threat who's going to break one off every single game like Barkley. And he's not going to be that guy who, again, is going to get you 4, 5, 6 every single carry like a Ronald Jones will. But he can get you 3, 4, 5 per carry. He can hit that home run threat pretty nicely. It's more just about that consistency with him. And part of that, again, comes from inconsistent usage. Definitely have to point that one out. He's very clearly inbounds. I don't know why they're taking so long to review this. He is very clearly inbounds. Why you're showing me the extra point, I have no idea. This is Sony Michel tape. So yeah, again, just something to keep in mind here. I'm gonna keep on saying this as they show Chubb here with them, is usage. And even that, I mean, you could view that as a positive. A guy like Ronald Jones, who's coming off a 275 touch season this year, maybe he's a little bit more worn down. Maybe you want a guy who's coming a little bit more fresh, coming off a 200 touch season in Michel. Maybe that's more what you're looking for. His shot play does a really good job of just taking the open field space, making the first down and third and long. Nice. And again, third down. Not that he can't do third down situations, just that he really didn't. And again, going back to that usage thing again, 7 minutes to go in the third, he wasn't seen for the rest of the third or the fourth quarter. At least that's being shown.
Get over here.
So, if there's something that really bothers you guys, maybe Michel isn't for you. However, if you want a fresher back, you want a guy who's got experience in a committee system, you want a guy who has a specific role, then maybe he is. It's all about really what you're going for here. Now, moving on quite a bit ahead here, we've got the Oklahoma tape. Oh yeah, this is bad. So let's see, 720. Yeah. Now see, this is one of those things again I really love about Sony Michel, right? This is a run to the outside, right? But yet you still see him not afraid to cut this back inside, take that open lane, and just outrun these fools. Oh, a little bit of a stumble with balance there. That's why I fell, got tackled so early in the throw. Yeah, we get to see it really well from this angle. Again, not a lot of push from this line. They're pretty set at that line, right? However, Michel maybe some guys in this class try and bounce that outside. However, again, you're just going to see Michel not afraid to shy away from contact, take that upfield, and he's still able to burst by number 90. Really nice play. Pass protection. And kind of got shoot out there. Nicely done with still in that play fake. Nice catch. Again, not one of those things that he can't necessarily do. It's just something that we really don't see a lot from him. And that's really what you're betting on with Michel if you're going to take him early, first, second round. Is you're really betting on the fact that he can do these things, and it's just that we're not seeing it. Because he definitely seems to have the skill set. And we'll get to see some of these things in Indianapolis too, at the combine. Can he catch? Can he run routes? Can he do these things? Is it just the fact that they weren't using him in those situations? Because, I mean, we've seen him sell play actions, we've seen him catch the ball. He's just not really putting up the statistics to represent that. Oh, great play from Okoronkwo. And another catch right there. Solid hands catch. It's just not something we see a lot from him. That was those two plays were responsible for almost half his catches on the year. And oh man, there's that home run threat. If you're looking for a home run threat back who can still get you those consistent yards, Sony Michel is the combination of the two for you. If you're willing to accept his usage and things like that, he is coming from a committee system. It's just again, nicely done. Number 4 coming across opens up that inside. Oh man, that whole defense bit. But Michel sees that and then bam, right at the snap, explodes through there, easily just blows past the whole defensive front, jukes that guy out with a nice cut. Watch this cut play here. He just completely outcuts him. I'll go back a little bit further so you can see it here. But right there, he just completely cuts him. Nice, no wasted movement. And then he's just going to blow by the rest of the defense for a touchdown out running corners. What a play by Michel. Here's the blocking look at it. And again, not really a lot of push here, but you see them opening up that hole, and you see that cell with number 4 here to the outside. He does have a nice cut lane. Can he explode through it? Absolutely. Oh my goodness, that cut. Dang. This combine is going to be absolutely ridiculous this year. Okay, a little bit of a chip there. Oh, dropped it. So what went wrong on this play? He does a nice job of getting the chip, right? Oh, so it was thrown way behind him. Now, granted, Michel probably should have been upfield there. He is looking upfield at this point, so I don't know why he turned. He has to just stay straight there and keep moving. I don't know why he's turning to the right and reaching with his left. Just two-hand that sucker. Don't try and one-hand that to the opposite side. Alright, misses the guy, but again, I mean, you're talking, is that Oko off the edge? No, it's someone else, but I mean, you're really, if you're Michelle here, I can't exactly blame you for selling that. Like, at this point here, he's still trying to sell his play fake. There's Oko there. Uh, whereas he's already coming off the edge. He realizes, he sees that guy coming off the edge. He's trying to come over and get that. Ultimately, I want to see 89 pick him up. And yeah, he's just too late to get there. Number 10 already has too much burst. Sees that there. Gets open. Nice catch. Can't break it through. So one thing, again, a pattern that I've noticed so far through his 3 catches is that he's really doing a nice job of getting yards after contact on carries. However, as the receiver, he's not really getting a lot of yards after catch. Definitely someone who really just catches the ball and he's done. They shove a puppy on Obo. And again, just does a nice job of not trying to force that to the outside. Well, he could. Again, he could have taken that around here. He had a nice lot of open space. He's going to not be someone who shies away from that contact. As a result, you could maybe argue that it backfires on him. But he still gets to that consistent yardage. A shove cut behind the line, uses it to pick up some yardage. Bam, just fights through that. Falls forward. Wide open hole. Now again, not one of those power lines where you're seeing a lot of push. Here, in this instance, yeah, you're getting a little bit more than normal. You're getting 2 yards of push, 2 yards of push here. He's still behind the line. Isaiah Wynn. It's more about creating that gap and opening in that hole for him. And him being able to find and obviously decide to take that gap. You'll see it here. Not a ton of push, but 74 does a great job of just opening up that hole through 55. Toss play to get into the edge. Just cuts that inside, bites through contact. Pass protection on the edge. Tries to go for a cut. It seemed to have worked. Took this guy out of the play. And again, contacted behind the line. Oh, there's your fumble I mentioned earlier. Yep. So we'll go through this play from start to finish here, right? So obviously this is a read option play, or an RPO. What's more like a read option? He's going to hand this off to Michel. Alright, so this play is very clearly designed to go to the left, and because you have Okoronkwo on that edge free, obviously you're going to try and get that to the left. 1-on-1, 1-on-1, 1-on-1. Should be pretty clean, right? Well, left tackle here, Isaiah Wynn, completely gets destroyed. Again, he is not looked good in any of these 2 games. As a result, okay, Rojo has to kind of avoid him. Wide receiver gets beat on the outside. Alright, so now you have to beat that guy. Well, he fights through him, right? However, because he made contact, he tried to check through. Got knocked back, okay? So now he is 1, 2, 3, 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Alright, at this point, just completely sell out, run upfield as hard as you can. Hopefully you can chuck through him, run around him somehow. Obviously, I want to see you burst past that guy, right? However, okay, you're doing the right thing so far here, right? You're trying to chuck through this guy, pick up as many yards as you can, try and get back to the line of scrimmage. However, have to remember to clear that football. Loses the ball, picked up by Oklahoma, touchdown. Or at least a very solid return. In fact, they actually did get that for a touchdown. Cost their team 7 points. So again, while Isaiah Wynn did get beat up on that play, while your wide receiver did definitely get beat up on that play and missed a cutback, it's still your responsibility at the end of that run to cradle that ball. Ball security is an issue. Draw play right up the middle. And again, another one of those instances where he had a couple of lanes to run through. Not the best push. All these guys here very clearly behind the line of scrimmage, but opened up some lanes. Personally, for me, I would have liked to have seen him take that to the right. Whereas him being a fight for contact guy tries to fight through that tackle, he just can't do so. Pass protection. I would have liked to have seen him be a little bit more aggressive on that particular play. Definitely want to see him really try and hold him off. And really take that gap. If he knows that that's his gap on this particular play, I don't want him moving backwards. From this point here, you need to be moving forward and coming up to engage that guy in his gap and hold him as far back as you can. You just gave up 4 yardage of pocket, and you're still giving him free space. So you're giving him 5 yards of pocket plus push, 6. Whereas initially off the ball here, you could meet him, if you're running right here, you could meet him 3 yards back. So you're giving up twice as many yards by not being aggressive on this play. Forces a hurried throw. Granted, nice job by Fromm to hit Javon Wims. However, at the NFL level, that's not a good play. Really want to see him be more aggressive as a pass blocker. Here. Nice job of taking him. Oh, Isaiah Wynn, what are you doing? He has not looked good in any of this game. Or the Vanderbilt game. As soon as Michel picks him up, yeah, nice to see that double. You need to get off of him to 87. Michel clearly is doing his thing against this guy here on the blocking release, but Isaiah just completely fails to take the interior guy there. And look, I mean, Michel still gets that nice hands catch, and jukes him out, and jukes Obo out of his shoes. Oh, man, that's a great all-around play by Michel. Oops, watch this play here, right? So, not only on this play does Michel pick up 19, right? Does a really good job with this blocking release, right? Wynn is the one, yeah, double team, you need to take that interior defender. But he sees his quarterback is being pressured, right? Just Wynn to pick up number 19, which again he fails to do. And then watch this. He gets off that blocking release cleanly because of the pressure from Wynn not picking up 19 this time. Michel has to be the dump off target. And yet still, completely shoots that guy out of his shoes. That's a heck of a juke move. Whoops. And completely outcut Okoronkwo here. Ugh. Nope, still not that far. Still not that far. goodness. Still not that far. Oh, that's Chubb. Why am I watching Chubb? I hate on Michelle. Okay. That was weird. Sorry about that, guys. So anyway, back to where we were. I thought it was around 3:30. Just completely shoots that guy out. I think you're going to see him with a little bit of a cut there on elbow and chest. His spin gets finally taken down there. Very nicely done. Now another one of those instances where what do you want to see him do? Do you want to see him be physical and fight through this contact here? Take this 1 yard you're going to get here? Or do you want to see him bounce outside and take the one-on-one? And here he just, I wish he were a little bit more patient on this play. He might have seen that hole open up. But again, for what he was doing on that play, just taking those yards and fighting through that contact, nice to see that. That was not me doing that. I don't know what happened there. It's just film itself. Weird. Again with that wildcat look. And you see again, just his ability to get skinny, make guys miss. And when he does get in the open field, he's dangerous. Just gonna see him. Now, one of those instances where maybe you don't want to see him cut it outside. However, again, look at the push that this Georgia offensive line is getting. 0, 1, behind the line, 2, at the line, 0. Very push. Doesn't see a hole he likes in the interior. Sees he has outside leverage here. Bam. As a result, you're getting 3 guaranteed yards here, right? However, just that explosiveness, that burst, and more importantly, that speed. For another one of those guys like Ronald Jones who plays at top speed all game long. Part of that with him, and why it's not as big of a deal for me with Michel as he is for Rojo, is because he's used so little. I attribute part of that because of staying fresh, and how he's not being overused. But you're just going to see him completely blow by that defense. Touchdown. Game winner. Clutch is very, clutch here is definitely there, very much there with him. So, again, we have seen some very key notable issues. He has had some issues occasionally in pass protection. He has had some issues with not seeing every hole available to him, taking every interior lane open instead of going for the most open space a large majority of the time. But he's still doing a very nice job of utilizing some of the spaces that he has in taking holes. Some guys don't find any holes. Some guys like Michel might not take the right ones 100% of the time, but they're still finding holes and taking them. And finally, on that note, we get to move on to Alabama in the national championship. So, again, how much push is that Georgia offensive line going to get here? And how many open holes is he going to have to run? Something like pass protection, put him on 29, held his guy off. Just a situation where blitzers are outnumbered. Right, because you still have Michel doing a nice job on his guy. Oh man, this Georgia offensive line just not looking good at all. Oh my goodness. 1, 2, 3. 3 yards, 4 yards. What is that? Isaiah Wing's 4 yards back. Their right tackle is 4 yards back. Their right guard is 4 yards back. Their center is the best shape right now at 2 yards back. Fortunately, they have Michel there to take me. That pressure from Alabama forces a mistake. Michel here. Now, again, sees that he's outnumbered here very heavily. One guy there. What's he going to do? Takes that interior gap. Very nicely done of reading the blockers, reading his leverage, knowing where the best play is going to be. Sees that Ping is right there, yes, but he can burst through that gap right through there and chooses to do so. And he just carries number 30 for 3 extra yards. Very nicely done given the situation. Draw play. Doesn't really do the best job of selling that draw. Ideally like to see him be a bit more patient for the ball there. However, again, look at where the state of the offensive line is. Both tackles here getting pushed very far back in. 3 yards on both sides. Line stuck at the line, not getting any pushback. Right? However, Michel, look at where his head is, right? He clearly sees this hole. Now, that brings up another point. Ronald Jones did a very good job of disguising what hole he was taking, right? Michel, he's very clearly committed to this hole. So what this does is gives this opportunity, this guy here, to come over and take that gap, right? Fortunately for him, that blocker took that. But he is very clearly committed to this hole. As a result, 99, able to get to the outside, still beats him. Nicely done by Michel. Just want to see a little bit more disguising that gap from him. Now again, look at this offensive line, man. I mean, we always talk about, yeah, Saquon didn't have the best line. Yeah, Geis didn't have the best line. Neither did Ronald Jones. Neither did Sony Michel, Rashad Penny. Maybe compared to this competition, but not really the best offensive line from them either. And you're seeing it with Michel here. Push back 2 yards right in his face. Free rusher. At the line, at the line. Okay, double team is getting pushed there. Nice shove on the edge, on the nickel corner there by the wide receiver, right? But despite the fact that his line is very clearly being pushed back, he's still getting back to the line of scrimmage. To me, that's a positive play for him. Ron Payne got a really nice push there. And again, free rusher at the line. He's very clearly got leverage at the line. At the line. Very clearly has inside leverage at the line. Free. Probably going to beat his guy. There is just zero blocking in the show. So what does he do? He gets one key block. All it takes is one. Right, you're finally going to see, okay, he's getting beat there. Great second effort by that right tackle, 71, right there. That one key block, and as a result, you're giving Michel a lot of open space, and he just does a great job of staying in, staying balanced, and picking up a ton of yards. Now, great luck here, right? 71 initially gets beat to the inside by Deron Payne, right? However, a great second effort block by 71 springs this for Michel. Nice little bit of a block there by the receiver, too, on this guy. Even that guy knocked that guy off balance a little bit. It's 39. And then tiptoeing that sideline, keeping his balance. Great footwork on the edge. Really nicely done. Oh, this quality. It says 720. Is it really at 720 though? Whatever. It must just be poor film. Alright, so what happened here? Look at the push. 2 yards behind the line. At the line. 2 yards behind the line. At the line. Free rusher. There's just nothing there. I mean, you can make the argument maybe he tries to fight through these two guys, both with the inside leverage. If he's able to do so, he has a lot of gap. But even then, I mean, you're expecting he could get skinny and fight through that, but oh man, just the expecting him to do that, I think is being a bit picky. And same thing there. You're expecting a running back to take 2 free guys right there. I don't really know what to tell you. Again, at the line, free rusher at the line, getting beat, behind the line, nothing there, and yet he's still getting you 1 or 2 yards. I absolutely love that he's not willing to just sit back and be ultra passive. Oh, nice big move by Rashawn Evans. And here, pass pro, not really that big of an issue for him. He can pass protect. He's just not polished at it. You're going to see him right here. Deron Payne very clearly has some momentum with a stunt, right? He's clearly building some work up. But he is handling Deron Payne. Very nicely done by Sony Michel to block Deron Payne on that stunt. Watch this play right here, right? Isaiah Wynn takes Rashawn to the inside, passes him along. Now, even though Wynn is falling here, Michel is right there to back him up and take away. I would say Alabama was probably best pro prospect in their front 7. Well, their front 4. I like Rashawn Evans better. And chip Rashawn. A little bit of a rounded route. Alright. Terrible throw. Pressure. Again, pass pro. One guy he has to take away here, and he very clearly chops him. Nice shot block. Nice coverage by Rashawn. Michel, nice job receiving the pitch, and a ban. He's taking that upfield. Nice job of creating vertical leverage. Great job of cutting that back. Love his vision here. And again, again with the patience as well. Right? Now this is something that's a little bit different. Normally he's probably taking that A gap right there, right? But he sees that this B gap is open and he realizes 65 has that block, right? So 65 is going to have the left leverage on that block, right? So he's going to take that to the left. And you see here, that center, he's still at the line. I mean, that's not really that great push. And if you did want to run to that right side, there's not really a lot of push there. But the guards here on this play, and the left tackles getting the Isaiah win too. But the guards do a great job of getting that level, and as a result, the one time they're able to get to their second level and do their job on the interior, Michel's off and running. Easy first down. 15-yard gain. Nice job by Isaiah Wynn to get out there, and the guy, because he has competent blocking, picks up the easy first. Again, pass pro. Great job of seeing that blitz, recognizing that blitz from 15. Picks him up very nicely. Very well done by Michel. So, seems to be more of an inconsistent seeing pass pro. Not something that he fails at, like we originally thought, but just inconsistent. Not that that's a good thing. He still has his issues, of course. Oh, man. Like there. I want to see him be a little bit more forceful, a little bit more helpful, but he has shown potential in that area. Oh, I love that cutback. And again, you're just going to see here, right? He's immediately going to slip through that arm tackle, and bam. Now, another thing I'm going to point out here too, offensive line. Where are they at? This one is probably designed to go to the left. Free rusher with Rashawn. Pushed back, probably has free leverage. Pushed back, pushed back. A little bit of a push there from the right tackle. All he needed to get loose. Granted, he didn't get a lot of yards after contact on that play. Got a lot of backs too versus Alabama defense. Even here, free rusher with Rashawn Evans again. Not really getting a lot of push, maybe a half a yard at the line, getting pushed back with Isaiah Wynn. Next shot by 74. 74 has looked really nice in this game. Right tackle has been pretty decent, I would say, getting a couple yards push here. And bam, all he needed, 74 to get to that second level. And look at how many yards he was able to get. One good block, and he's gone. Just trucks right over him, fights through that, actually slips out of that tackle as well. Great play by Sony Michel. And actually, this is a great angle too, right? 63 inside, or left leverage gone. Left leverage gone. This play, he's coming from the right to left, right? So ideally, he runs through one of these. That gap is taken, being pushed back, getting pushed back, getting pushed back with outside leverage there, right? So here, now one thing he could do, I would say if he wanted to, is if this was someone like Ronald Jones, and probably Saquon does this too, he could get this bounce back to the right side around Rashawn here, and hopefully win one of these one-on-twos, use this green space. However, he still does a nice thing here. Great job by that left guard to recover and push him out just enough to open this gap. And because of that, right, you see Michel take that gap. He's not trying to slip through any of these holes. He's taking that gap. Great run blocking scheme. He completely chucks through 15, fights through that arm tackle from 99, and finally gets brought down at the third tackle. Here, first time we're finally seeing some push from that Georgia offensive line. Fourth quarter. Finally starting to wear that defense down a little bit. Now what happens? You're still getting no holes. The Alabama defense really taking away that inside run. Of course, it's the inside run, right? So he could take this B gap here, right? But that safety appears to be coming over. So what do you want Michel to do? At least what do I want Michel to do here? I want to see him cut this to the outside. So what does he do? He sees that exactly what we predicted, that defender wanted to take that gap. Cuts that back to the outside. Now, Isaiah Wynn. Oh, what is he doing on this play? Really struggling this tape, right? Ideally, Isaiah just gets upfield, takes his guy, right? That guy comes inside. Michel's able to get around the edge, touchdown, right? But Isaiah tries to take away both of these dudes. Forces Michel to cut it back because he no longer has that outside leverage. Still somehow gets a couple of yards out of that after contact. But really poor play again by Isaiah Wynn. Here, oh my goodness, 24 is 3 yards deep. Oh man, he's clearly getting destroyed, right? But all it takes is one or two guys, and he's gone. That left tackle, Isaiah finally does something pretty decent there. And that guard frees him up, gets him just enough of a lane to where he's able to split some defenders and pick up yardage. Love that. Oh, and even better look here too, right? And yeah, Isaiah, yeah, exactly. Isaiah, when getting that second level, does a great job of taking away Rashawn Evans on that play, which allows Michel to spring free. Very nicely done. And you see it again here. Look at this Alabama defense, right? This is a 5-on-3 here you got going on. Or if you want to put it this way, 6 on 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 2. 3 if you want to count him, gets off him, takes that guy, right? Have another guy there. Unbelievable pressure Alabama was able to put on him. So, ideally, another one of those instances where, hey, maybe it's okay if you bounce the outside, right? However, 65, not winning that outside leverage. So, I want to see that decision a little bit earlier. Ideally, right here, he starts realizing he needs to cut this back outside. Should have seen the loaded box. Want to see him immediately take that cut across. However, his vision is not that quick. Just decides to take the open lane, especially on 3rd and short, 3rd and 2 situation. Fight through those yards because it's the Alabama defense. He's stuffed. Great look here. Right, so ideally, you want to see him. I would want to say between 65 and 53 would probably be your best bet if you're going to stick to the inside. Maybe you see 74 open up enough of a crease between him and 53. But it looks to me like 53 originally is taking that to the inside. So I would want to see him get there, and 65 is taking him to the outside. And that's exactly what happened. He tried to take that to the inside of 53. That lane never really opened up with 71 there. Gets stuffed. So not the best decision at the end there for Michel. So my personal thoughts on Sony, definitely has some areas to improve, but he's still a very consistent runner who gets you positive yards on most plays. Did not see him get tackled for a loss because of his responsibility more than once or twice, and didn't really see a lot of receiving ability, didn't really see consistent enough pass blocking, but still a very solid back nonetheless, who in the right situation, as a lot of these guys will be, could definitely be a very solid running back. And again, part of that, I mean, he had a couple of lapses in decision making, wanted him to take it outside a little bit more than he did. On the other hand, very willing to fight through contact, very powerful runner, despite him being known as the more elusive guy. Definitely played with that power, loves that contact, fights through that contact well. On the other hand, sometimes that mentality backfired and he didn't take as much open space. So the one thing I really want to see from Michel at the next level is I really want to see him take that open space a lot more often. And while he did do a good job of taking the yards that were there were better situations for him if he remained a little bit more patient. So with that, thanks again guys for joining us for this session here. I was Sony Michel. Definitely enjoyed watching him. And was really interesting to see his struggles versus his strong suits. Definitely some great areas. Definitely some areas where he lacked at times. So, with that, thanks again, guys, for joining Prospect Nation 101 for this video breakdown. My name is Chris. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The YouTube video as well, and our YouTube channel. And we hope to see you guys again soon. So with that, peace out.